lessons from Bhagavad Gita for physicians. And just this is one topic very core to my heart. And every time when we touch Bhagavad Gita through our mind, through our eyes, we get some new informations. Same sloka can be interpreted uh, in a different way. So that is the beauty of Bhagavad Gita. I think we all acknowledge its dynamicity. And let's start today's discussion. And I think we all face this when we are in our clinic. Our patient enters into the clinic. They are about to tell something to us. They are about to get something from us so that their suffering can be tackled. So just to think the chapter 1 of Bhagavad Gita, when the Arjuna, he became restless and he was seeking the help from Krishna. So in the entire chapter 1, what we can find, there is Arjuna who is actually, you can see the symptoms of Arjuna, the signs of Arjuna, that makes just like one panic patient, one anxiety patient, one who enters inside our clinic and telling us that my whole body shudders, my hairs is standing on end, uh, my limbs are giving away, my mouth is drying up. So a higher sympathetic nervous system activity is there. And in whole chapter 1, Krishna was not telling anything. So if we go by the different slokas of chapter 1, we can understand that that is from the end of Arjuna, who is telling these are my problem and how to overcome that. And Krishna was just listening to Arjuna. Just like physicians, when we sit in our chair, we ask, we listen our patient, the history in a detailed way, in a minute way. So with that, we start today's conversation. And when we talk about Bhagavad Gita, what after chapter 1, Sri Krishna did, that is to let Arjuna know about what he is actually. So how that can be done? That E need to be go away so that we can overcome our ego, and which is actually covering up us, which is actually disguising us, not understanding who am I by this ego. And that is why, as Joshi sir was mentioning, that we need to abandon the attachment of both success and failure, and then that equanimity, that state of equanimity to reach is essential. Then we will call be as yogi. And for yogi, when we talk about yog, that means addition. And when we talk about addition, again, this is one thing which again I learned from Professor Shashank Joshi sir, and this is one disclaimer. Many things we will discuss maybe for next 15 or 20 minutes. I am totally devoted because my spiritual guru is also Professor Shashank Joshi sir. Every day I learn from him. Yes, I have my late grandfather, late Nirmalendu Samajdar. From his different literature, I had gained something. So when we talk about yoga, that means addition. We are making multiple I, so we become we, and then we can convert illness to wellness. And that is the essence of Bhagavad Gita, that Bhagavad Gita actually tells us how we can become really we, how our illness can be transformed to wellness. So this was one case study we had published in IJDDC, where we had discussed one case where a young boy who was suffering from type 1 diabetes, patient of ours, was taking basal bolus insulin. And finally, due to some religious leaders' advice, he had stopped taking insulin for 6 months and landed up with diabetic ketoacidosis, admitted in hospital, recovered. Once again, he came back to us. That is the time when we need to follow the principle of equanimity. This is not that right time to abuse patient, to argue with patient. We need to understand the spiritual belief of the patient, and according to that we need to customize, we need to make them understood why insulin is the life for you. So again, when we talk about Bhagavad Gita, the beautiful sloka from chapter 6, verse 30, which teaches us, for those who see me everywhere and see all things in me, I am never lost, nor are they ever lost to me. So this actually tells us about the empathy, interconnectedness of all being. And I think this is one of the very key concepts of holistic healthcare. And if we have this type of concept, then we can foster compassionate, empathetic care, and we can also, with this, enhance the patient trust and adherence to therapy. We'll also discuss a few cases of COVID-19 which we had came across. We take one case here. Type 1 diabetes patient who was being admitted with diabetic ketoacidosis again. Thus, SpO2 was 78%, CVG 564. So admitted in critical care, immediately intubated, central line done in emergency. So intubation and central line done in emergency in that time of COVID, you can think how proactive was the healthcare providers, and the management started. Next day, immediately the HSCT thorax came, the Corer score was 4, COVID-19 report not came that time. But what happened after 3 days when COVID-19 report came, it was positive. Now, suddenly that patient's father had slapped the treating doctor and blaming the hospital, creating some thing in that hospital, and they're telling this hospital is responsible for COVID-19 infection. But what is important here again, yes, it is very difficult to sometimes cope up with this type of situations. But again, chapter 2, verse 6 tells us, Dukheshu anudbignomana, Shukheshu vigata spriha, Bita raga bhaya krodha, sthitodhi muni uchvate. I think our teachers always taught us how to become steady, because this type of happenings happened every times, many days in our clinic also. We have to face that. But again, if we follow the principles of yoga, the equanimity, we can overcome these issues. So finally, what happened to that boy? He was discharged after 12 days in stable condition. At that time, the father was trying to catch the feet of the doctor, but the doctor stopped him immediately, but greeted with a gentle namaste. So again, even they are praising us, our teachers again taught us that activities do not taint me, nor do I desire the fruits of action. One who knows me in this way, never bound by the karmic reactions of the world. So that activity, we need to withdraw ourselves from the fruits of those like when the father is going to catch our feet. So we need to avoid that too. So again, this is a very interesting transformation. While we we visit Gita, I think two personality we need to remind. One is great Lord Shankaracharya, and another is obviously today we are discussing about Swami Vivekananda. They explain Gita very easily to us. So this was an incident when Shankaracharya was traveling towards Kashi Vishwanath temple, and suddenly he saw some Chandal was in between the path of the mandir. So he stopped and he told that Chandal, hey, please go away from my path. Why are you standing here? That time the Chandal asked Shankaracharya, who will be shifted? You are telling me, who is this me? You want my body to go from your path? Or what you want? That time Shankaracharya understand who is actually that Chandal was. So he was Shiva. So that time this beautiful sloka that had been prepared by Lord Shankaracharya, the Nirvanastakam, na punnang na papang na shaukham na dukkham na mantro na tirtha na veda na yagya ahang bhojanang naiva bhojyam na bhuktva chidananda rupa shivoham shivoham. So the beautiful last line that has been translated by Swami Vivekananda, I am neither the act of enjoying, the enjoyable, nor the enjoyer. I am existence absolute, knowledge absolute, bliss absolute. I am he, Shivoham, Shivoham. A few days back, few days after, what happened? Again, the Shankaracharya was traveling to some different path, and there was one corpse. And that corpse, just beside that corpse, one lady was crying, as if that lady was the wife of that corpse. Now Shankaracharya again in that path asked that lady, oh mother, please give me some path, I want to go. Then the lady suddenly told Shankara, why are you telling me to move away from your path? You can tell that corpse, you can tell that corpse to go away. Now Shankaracharya again, he was astonished. Now he reminds that, okay, so I was talking about Shivoham, Shivoham. So I was actually ignoring the existence of Prakriti. So it is not about only sheep. We need to respect Prakriti also. So that time, again, another beautiful stotra written by Shankaracharya, that is Bhavannashtakam. So na janami punnang, na janami tirthang, na janami mukting layang ba kadachit, na janami bhakting bratang bapi mata, gatistang gatistvang tameka bhavani. So same meaning, and we need to acknowledge the role of Prakriti here. We are really delighted. By the guidance of Professor Shashank Joshi sir, we had published, this has been accepted in Journal of Medical Evidence. We had given this story that how this ancient wisdom integrate with modern biology, especially when we talk about our mitochondrial inheritance from the mothers. And if we again go back when mitochondria was something separate cell, and actually it becomes endogenous organ after some times of evolution. So we can share this later with all of you. Now coming to again, when we talk about Gita, this is a very, I think many of our Bengali friends who know this, that you will be nearer to heaven through football than through study of Gita. And that is why many times our some of our friends also told, don't read Gita, rather play football. But today, as we are discussing about Gita, let's elaborate what actually Swami Vivekananda told. First of all, our young men must be strong. Religion will come afterwards. Be strong, my young friends. That is my advice to you. You will be nearer to heaven through football than through the study of Gita. These are bold words, but I have to say them, for I love you. I know where the shoe pinches. I have gained a little experience. You will understand the Gita better with your biceps, your muscles a little stronger. So you will understand the mighty genius and the mighty strength of Krishna better with a little strong blood in you. You will understand the Upanishad better and the glory of Atma when your body stands firm upon your feet and you feel like men. Thus, we have to apply this to our needs. So, yes, we need to play football. We need to have a good physical health, but at the same time, we need to have a good mental health, good social health, and good spiritual health. And that is why he always told us to grow not only by our physical health, but also by our mental, social, and spiritual health. I think this is one of the very interesting drawing by him. This is the logo of Ramakrishna Mission, which is actually drawn by Swami Vivekananda. We can see here this wavy water. This wavy waters actually are symbolic of our karma. Then we can see this lotus. It is for bhakti. Then a rising sun, which is a sun of jnana, knowledge. And finally, this Sharpa, the snake, this encircling serpent is indicative actually of Kundalini Shakti. This is the indicative of yoga. And when we can have all this, the Gyan, Bhakti, and Karma, along with yoga, the attention, then we can see that swan in the picture. And that swan in the picture stands for Paramatma. So when we talk about yoga, that is the power of focus or attention or concentration. And when we combined power of yoga with karma, gyan, and bhakti, which is obtained from Gita, then we ultimately see ourselves. We can understand who am I, and we can visualize Paramatma. Yes, this attention is very critical. This encircling serpent is very important figure in this picture. And that is why every time when Vivekananda told us, he emphasized the power of concentration. And when we talk about maximizing our resources, which are the most important resources for us: attention, time, and energy. So attention should be taken as the primary commodity. It emphasizes its nature as the most valuable resource. Yes, the importance of time is there. It is also a crucial asset. Energy. We need to also recognize the energy as a vital component of our resource. Then we need to isolate also from other distractions. Detach from the outer world sometimes for better focus. Prevent self-scatter too. And when we talk about detachment, we need to understand this gentleman vision. What is that? This is the cobra's gauge. They have a precision focus on the prey. So we also should have a laser-like precision. And that is the initial step of focusing attention. And that has been echoed in various different chapters of Gita. Then, not only that precision, we need to steadfast that guarding, maintain the focus, remain vigilant and poised. Then selective isolation, shut out its surroundings. That is the final step of deep focus. And I think this was a very interesting statement, an important statement by Mihaly, who is a very renowned psychologist. Most enjoyable activities are not natural. They demand an effort that initially one is reluctant to make, but once the interaction starts to provide some feedback to the person's skills, it usually begins to be intrinsically rewarding. What is that? Yes, at the beginning, you always feel that doing Facebook, scrolling some pictures, that is some enjoyable activities. But when you stop doing that, Facebook, you will maybe 30 minutes you had done that. But after 30 minutes, what you will feel? You will feel, oh, I had lost my 30 minutes time. Maximum of us will think that. But at the same time, if you devote 30 minutes to read something good, I think that will carry forward for next 5 days, 10 days, and you will feel that, yes, I had done something good. Also, he had mentioned the best moments in our lives are not in passive, receptive, and relaxing times. The best moments usually occur if a person's body or mind is stretched to its limits in a voluntary effort to accomplish something difficult and worthwhile. Again, just think this statement, and we can easily see how this statement is true and why attention is very critical. I think many of us are fortunate to witness this innings of 241. And what we can see from this heat map of his strokes, there is no cover drive. But we know that Sachin Tendulkar is famous for his cover drive too. What happened then? For last 3 tests, he was being out, bolded while doing cover drive. So we had corrected him. So just think the concentration of this great legend. So that is the power of focused attention. We need to also apply full attention to all tasks, regardless of their nature or importance. It could be some chit-chatting with some friend, but in that chit-chatting too, our spiritual leaders, they are telling that we need to be attentive in that chit-chat too, so that the attention become a habit to us. So Swami Vivekananda again emphasis on disciplined attention, the concept of the mind forming habits based on how we use it, the potential pitfalls of letting the mind wander without focus. And when difficulties in focusing, if the habit of inattention is formed. So reinforce the idea that keeping the mind under full attention in all activities is crucial for developing a disciplined and focused mindset. And when we talk about attention in quality of life, so we need to understand the attachment and detachment in education, then determining the life quality, how the subject and intensify of our thoughts shape our life experience, how we can compare 1 hour of leisurely browsing on Facebook with reading an engaging academic journal article. And we can also discuss this case study of a cancer patient, when a story of cancer patient who improved internal quality of life by focusing on writing. So someone told, yes, you have cancer, so everything will be finished by 6 months, quality of life hampered. But if for 6 months you take a responsibility of publishing 3 or 4 articles, so that will improve your quality of life. So that is very important, and that is the benefit of attention. And every corner of Gita is telling us, teaching us about attention. So transforming mindset with mindful attention, mind's power to reshape a reality. Again, John Milton told, the mind is its own place and in itself can make a heaven of hell and a hell of heaven. And we know the story of that monkey who is going up and down to that ladder. So how we can control that, control our mind. So this is a very interesting book by Nathaniel Branden, 6 Pillars of Self-Esteem. How to raise your self-esteem: living consciously, accepting yourself, self-responsibility. And when we are talking about accepting yourself, again, this great gentleman, Swami Vivekananda, told, this is a very famous quote, he is an atheist who does not believe in himself. So we need to believe ourselves. We need to be self-assertive. But at the same time, our communication should be honest, open. We need to be prepared for rejection, non-acceptance, but we should avoid manipulation and aggression. Living purposefully, and finally, the personal integrity. When we talk about integrity, when we talk about ethics, that is a multiplied product of 2M, materialism and morality. But self-esteem is not all. Ravana has self-esteem. You just go through the characters of this self-esteem, Ravana matching to that self-esteem. But what Ravana did not have? The selflessness, which is also the character of Rama. So Ram has 6 pillars of this self-esteem plus selflessness. And that makes Ramchandra as a Rama. We still worship Rama. So that is the importance of selflessness. So finally, when we are talking today, just one day before Mahakumbh, the spirituality, science and skill. This year, this January 2024, again under the guidance of Professor Shashank Joshi sir, we had written this editorial. It will be published in this JIMA. The 3 pillars, spirituality, science and skill. When we talk about Mahakumbh, we need to pranam those 3 rivers, Ganga, Jamuna, Saraswati. So Saraswati is not that much, we can see Saraswati. Similarly, yes, we are giving importance to science and skill, but not that much to spirituality. But it is time just one day before Mahakumbh, when we are organizing this webinar, we need to acknowledge spirituality too. This 3S is very important. In this article, we had given emphasis on the lessons of Rama. It is not only about just breaking the Lord Shiva's bow with his physical strength, but also we need to understand this symbol of overcoming different internal barriers. It could be ego, it could be ignorance, it could be attachments. We need to understand that. So spirituality and the dimension of Mahakumbh, when we are talking about the combination of spirituality, science, and skill, we need to also acknowledge the combination of karma yoga, gyan yoga, and bhakti yoga. And with that, again, I want to respect all the physicians, because all the physicians, they are actually practicing this in their clinic. Still remember my professor Ardhendu Sinha sir, when I was intern, I was just making one round with him in Archikor Medical College. So that time, one patient was lying in the bed, stool being over stool full float, everything was there. We were very much, not willing to go to the patient. Sir understood that. So that patient, the blood pressure was not measured. He had not rebooked us. He took the sphygmomanometer and take the blood pressure and tell that man, how are you? What are you doing? In a very simple way. So actually, we doctors are practicing these principles. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastini Shuni Chaiva Shapake Cha Pandita Samadarshina. So we are actually practicing the equanimity, the law of equanimity. From our teachers, we learn this. So once again, I thank you for all your attention.